Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0993341 on Joy 99.7 FM. It's also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go, and Telesur 4G, Just a Touch. Coming up, police in the Western region come under heavy criticism for their handling of young girls kidnapped more than a month in Takoradi by a Nigerian syndicate.
The police are treating it like just any pickpocket crime kind of thing. We have to understand that these people are professionals.
Police have a totally nonchalant approach to this whole thing. What if this was my daughter? What if this was my sister?
We'll get to hear from some legal experts who are demanding more experienced security personnel are involved in the investigation and speak to the gender minister live on this matter. As police hands for the killers of Ahmed Swale, the Media Foundation for West Africa is warning against drawing hasty conclusions in circumstances surrounding his death.
So we need to be at this stage a bit cautious in concluding that Mr. Swale was murdered because of his work.
2 years after the rolling out of government's Planting for Food and Jobs program, we get to hear from farmers on what they say are unresolved challenges militating against the policy.
Earlier, the fertilizer was given to a dealer, which by October, he tells you whatever was given to you has finished. And the farmers themselves go in and search for fertilizer.
And later, Ghana Library Authority declares 2019 the year of reading in a move to help build a reading population.
The children are on holiday. Kwame and Efwa are at home.
We'll get to tell you about a mobile app set to be introduced to boost this reading campaign. And in sports,
there's an official presentation going on at the Camp Nou as Barcelona outdoors new signing Kevin Prince Boateng.
We have all that and more coming up here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau.
We plead with everyone to help us trace my daughter. It's been very difficult for my family.
That's the cry of a mother who has lost her daughter to kidnappers, and she remains etched in the heart of many Ghanaians who are unhappy with the Western Region Police's handling of the case. More than a month after 3 girls went missing in Takoradi, the police are yet to establish any strong leads to arrest the perpetrators, although they say they are on a manhunt for the accomplice of the Nigerian kidnapper, Samuel Wilson Utodog, has confessed to the crime and has been in police custody for weeks. There's more in the following report.
A month ago, 18-year-old Ruth Texan called her mother in a desperate tone demanding some monies. She, however, could not tell why she needed as much as 5,000 Ghana cedis. 56-year-old Comfort Ahin says her daughter was picked up at the BU Junction in Takoradi.
She called my line and demanded 5,000 cedis. I got worried and alarmed. I asked her where she was, but she couldn't give me any information about her location.
I don't know. 2 weeks down the line, 15-year-old Priscilla Mantebia Kranche, a first-year student of the Secondary College, was also kidnapped. But unlike Madame Ahin, Priscilla's father, Alexander Kranche, wants closure because he believes his daughter is dead.
They called me Sunday that they have found my daughter's dress around where the kidnapper was arrested. I couldn't believe still my daughter is alive.
The subsequent arrest of the suspect Samuel Wilson Utodeg, a Nigerian, brought some hope to the distressed parents that their daughters will soon be found. But that would not last, as the alleged kidnapper broke jail. Even though he was rearrested within 4 days, the parents would this time be cautiously optimistic. In fact, some of them are angry with the police.
We want the children. You got to torture the guy to say the truth.
ASP Olivia Texan says they have not been able to find the girls because the suspect is not forthcoming with credible information.
When he was arrested, he said the children were in Kasua. They searched the whole of Kasua and he could not really pinpoint the exact house the children are.
Meanwhile, the police say they are on a manhunt for one more person believed to be involved in this business. Until then, the families of these girls will continue to grieve. Ernest Menu for Joy News.
But law lecturer Professor Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu says the police are not attaching the requisite importance to the case. She believes more senior security personnel must be tasked to handle the matter. She spoke on the Super Morning Show.
I believe that a few mistakes have been made because now kidnapping is by professionals. So if the handling of it is amateurish, then you won't get very far. I believe that more senior, more experienced police investigators should get involved. I am surprised that you have tried to reach the Western Regional Command without success. I would urge them, if they are near a phone, to contact Joy FM, because this is the kind of silence that produces further insecurity. Everybody is vulnerable. And so if people feel insecure, you should be on air assuring everybody that the matter is well in hand. Sometimes we don't put enough value on our females, because if we put value on our females, then the disappearance of one would have caused consternation. But if the disappearance of one doesn't cause consternation, then it goes on. Almost 2 decades ago, we had the phenomenon of women being found killed. We never really got satisfactory answers, and we moved on as a nation. Perhaps this should reawaken us to the fact that a woman is also valuable. And we should put everything into finding that one woman who cannot be found. I can sense from the situation being described a lack of training of the police. So they are treating it like just any pickpocket crime kind of thing. We have to understand that these people are professionals. And so we need to up our game, or else we are never going to solve these problems.
You heard that Professor Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu, now lawyer and vice president of policy think tank Imani. Kofi Bento agrees. He says the police's lackadaisical attitude to the case gives cause to worry.
Police have a totally nonchalant approach to this whole thing. And I imagine, what if this was my daughter? What if this was my sister? My first problem is that the police seem to care too little about ordinary people. Look at the casual nature with which they handle this thing. These people have to be going to the police station over and over again when the person is on phone making communications with them. Then you arrest the gentleman, you are so lackadaisical, you let him escape, and then they have to come back to you before you go and grab him again, and then you are so relaxed about it. And the girls are out there. There are 3 girls that we know of. The question is, what are our police doing? And this is not one of those things where you need fantastic resources. You just need to be diligent. This is somebody's sister, somebody's daughter. The first and most important problem is that if our society thinks that our police don't care anything about ordinary people, we will degenerate. And these are lives at stake. So I worry about why the Western Region Police Commander is still at post. I worry about why all those people in charge are still there. I worry about why this has gone on for weeks and nobody is saying anything about it.
You heard that Kofi Bento, lawyer and vice president of policy think tank Imani. We're still hoping, working the lines, to be able to speak to Gender Minister Cynthia Morrison. As and when we're able to raise her, we'll get to speak to her. But let's stay on some security-related matters. And as the police CID gives assurances, it will continue to interrogate persons of interest, as well as follow up on what it says are multiple significant leads. The Media Foundation for West Africa is warning the public against drawing hasty conclusions in circumstances surrounding the death of Ahmed Swale. There's been public outcry over the death of the member of the Tiger Eye PI team, with the hashtag journalism is not a crime trending on social media. But speaking on PM Express, Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima, says though the killing could be related to his death, of all other angles must be explored.
This particular incident is a significant one, but also we need to discuss it in a very dispassionate manner so that we don't preempt anything, we don't prejudice anything, and we don't begin to influence how the public think of the media and the particular issue we are talking about. And it is on that basis that I would say we need to be at this stage a bit cautious in concluding that Mr. Swale was murdered because of his work. Yes, we are right to assume so. And I believe that it may be right to assume 70% that, or even more, that this is perhaps as a result of his work. Yes, and I think that it is important in our conversations around this. That for me is one of the key points.
You have the Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Brahima. But Joy News can confirm that a former member of the Tiger Eye PI team has also reported alleged death threats on his life. We'll certainly bring you more details on this rather turn of event in our subsequent bulletins. Now let's do some politics, because the vetting committee of the opposition NDC has started vetting its presidential aspirants ahead of the party's presidential primaries next month. Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbing, was the first to be vetted by the party. Mr. Bagbing, who spent an hour with the committee, says members of the vetting committee were impressed with his performance.
The questions were meant to elicit the best from the candidate, and so they asked questions from archaeology to zoology, where from their facial expressions and from the body language, including the nodding of heads, I think that I was giving thumbs up. At the end of the day, they were, for me, that's flying. I'm always flying. That's why I'm the first. And so I'm in very high spirits because I have greatly improved on their understanding.
You have Alban Bagbing, the first to be vetted by the vetting committee of the NDC. Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to our reporter on the ground, Kwesi Parker-Wilson. Kwesi, so who else apart from Alban Bagbing has been vetted so far? It looks like we don't have Kwesi on the line just yet, but we'll still get to Kwesi shortly, and we'll get to know who has been vetted so far apart from Alban. Kingsford Sumana Bagbing was the first to have been vetted by the committee. But let's head to the Information Ministry now, because the Minister for Roads and Highways has refuted claims by the minority that government has failed to pay road contractors under the guise of conducting an audit. Addressing journalists at the Meet the Press in Accra, Mr. Kwesi Amoakwata noted that government in 2018 released some amount. Ernest Menu is there for us and joins us on the line. So Ernest, what explanation has he been given for why the contractors have not been paid? Hello, Ernest.
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm asking for the reasons that the Minister of Roads and Highways has given, because he's been refuting claims by the minority that contractors have not been paid. What reasons has he been giving?
Yes, he indeed alludes to the fact that there was some audit that was carried out when they assumed office in 2017. And, the ministry, the debt at the time was, in terms of commitments to roads, 17.2 billion. Now, after the audit, they had that reduced to about 5.79 billion. Then they went on to begin payment. And he tells journalists here that in 2018 alone, they released 3.58 billion cedis for payments in the road sector. And out of that, we have some 1.9 billion that went to contractors by way of payment. And so that is how far the ministry have come as far as payment of contractors is concerned. He tells us that there are some arrangements to ensure that they pay whatever arrears there is to pay as far as roads are concerned. And they are minimizing on commitments. They want to make sure that they have the available funds before they commit to any project. And already the Sino Hydro project, phase 1 of that project is underway, and some 10 projects as well. The new regions, he claims, will benefit from the 6 new regions will benefit from the first phase of the project. In June, the second phase will start, and we already know that some amount, a little over 600 million from the Sino Hydro project is already in.
That's Ernest Menu from the Information Ministry, where the ministry is having a Meet the Press series, and we've been getting some updates on that. Let's head back to the NDC headquarters, where the vetting committee have started vetting presidential aspirants. Kwesi Parker-Wilson is there. We told you earlier that Mr. Bagbing has already been vetted. So, Kwesi, who else is expected to be vetted today?
Okay, so let me say that Professor Joshua Alabi is being vetted by the vetting committee, and we are told that John Dramani Mahama, the former president, will also be vetted today. So he will be right after Professor Joshua Alabi. Then later in the day, Dr. Guzitano and Eko Gabra will also be vetted. Now we are learning that almost all the presidential aspirants have about an hour with the vetting committee, and what the vetting committee is expecting from them is how they'll be able to deliver on their own policies and ideas, how they can execute them. So for Abang Babin, when I spoke to him, he indicated to me that essentially they wanted to appreciate how he's going to execute all his campaign promises or the messages he's been talking about in months gone by. And for him, how he performed, he believes that the members of the vetting committee were impressed with his performance, and he has no doubt that he will sail through the vetting process successfully.
So, Kwesi, are you able to tell us if all the aspirants will be vetted today by the committee? Is that what it is?
No, that's not what it is. We are told that about 4 or 5 of them will be vetted today, and tomorrow the remaining 3 will also be vetted. You know, we have 7 aspirants in all who are contesting in the flag bearership race as far as the NDC is concerned. So it is 2 days, today and tomorrow. Then the following day will be days when if the vetting committee members disqualified any of the aspirants, then they have the opportunity to appeal, and then the appeals committee will listen to their plea. And if indeed they want to approve them or probably still disqualify them, they'll still go ahead. So it will mean that the aspirant would not be able to contest in the 23rd February presidential primaries of the NDC.
Kwesi Parker-Wilson reporting from the NDC headquarters. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now let's head back to Takoradi, our very first story. We've been talking about some kidnappings in the area. Even though the police say the number is 3, the residents are saying that 7 girls have gone missing more than a month now, and their parents are asking that they will be able to bring these girls back. Even though the Nigerian kidnapper Samuel Wilson Utodog has confessed the crime, the police is yet to find these girls, and we are privileged to be joined on the phone by the Gender Minister, Cynthia Morrison, on this matter. Thank you very much for your time here on the Midday News. I'm sure that by now this matter of these kidnappings in Takoradi has been brought to your attention. What kind of briefing are you getting on this matter?
Yeah, good afternoon to my listeners. This is a very sensitive thing, and because the girls have not been found, I don't want us to read a lot of meaning into it. We are closing up on the kidnappers. I don't know how fast it is, but as a parent, imagine that your daughter is out there and you don't know what is happening to her. It's heartbreaking. As a gender ministry, we have intelligence on the ground. The police are working on it. We are yet to go to Takoradi ourselves. I asked them to send the father's number. I'm going to talk to him. I'm in Akosombo at the moment, but I've asked 2 of my staff to go to Takoradi, find out the parents, and then when I get back to Accra, I'm also going to go there. And if the kidnappers want to ransom or something, find a way of identifying them. All we need is a girl. So whatever it takes. But like I told the guy, your gentleman who called me, that we don't want to go into details what we are trying to do on air because the children are still not with us. Then when the children get to us, but all I can say is that we should be careful. We should let our young ladies, even our sons, the young boys, be careful where they go to, and then they should go in a company. Now the 7 girls, we don't know whether they were kidnapped together or they were kidnapped separately until we find them and they tell us the story, how they were kidnapped. We can't talk much about it because as of now, we can't tell how it happened. I can't tell how it happened. Maybe the stories are telling me whether they are true or not. I'm waiting to get the girls, but I'm optimistic that we will find them. I pray that wherever they are, the Lord himself will touch the hearts of these kidnappers. But we should not entertain this. And whether they are Nigerians or Ghanaians, I'm sure when the girls are found, we know the details, where they were kept and all that, so that we can start advising our young people. But this is the sad thing. I can tell that the police are working at it. That is the report I have, that they are working seriously at it. And maybe closing up on whoever kidnapped the girls or
So from the briefing you're getting from the police, they are very close to getting the girls back to their parents. Is that what it is?
Yes, because we are working, in collaboration with other people. And like I said, I don't want to go into details on air, but that is what they tell me, that they are working at it. And then I'll get my report by the close of tomorrow, because the staff that went out have not given me any report yet. But I'll get that report by the close of tomorrow.
But there are those who are of the view that you may not be outraged as others are about this matter. Are you?
I am. I'm looking at my daughter being out even for a day. Even when she goes out and she's not home yet. And I know she's going to come even when she speaks to me until she gets home. I am. But we shouldn't. It's a bad thing. It isn't something. We are looking at what happened in Nigeria. But I don't want my heart to get there, because it is so sad. 7 children. It is not an easy thing. But I am just praying that we get them. I am just praying that nothing bad happens to them. And until we get them, I can't also sleep, because they are my children. Even though I didn't birth them, they are my children. 7 girls. It is not an easy thing, not knowing whether they are going to come alive or not. That is what I'm saying. I'm very optimistic that we'll get them alive.
We're grateful for your time. That's the Gender Minister Cynthia Morrison on this matter. We're hoping that these girls will be reunited with your family. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Stories we've covered so far. Of course, police in the Western region have come under heavy criticism for their handling of young girls kidnapped more than a month in Takoradi by a Nigerian syndicate. And you just heard from the Gender Minister on this. And as police hands for the killers of Ahmed Swale, the Media Foundation for West Africa is warning against drawing hasty conclusions in circumstances surrounding this death. And still to come, 2 years after the rolling out of government's Planting for Food and Jobs program, we'll get to hear from farmers on what they say are unresolved challenges militating against the policy. And later, Ghana Library Authority declares 2019 the year of reading in a move to help build a reading population.
The children are on holiday. Kwame and Efwa are at home.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. It's time now for sports, and Kevin Prince Boateng is still trending, is still in the news. Benedict, what's the latest?
Yes, of course. It's all about Kevin Prince Boateng at this moment, and there's an official presentation currently ongoing at the Camp Nou, home of Spanish champions Barcelona, to outdoor their latest signing, that's Prince Boateng. The Ghanaian joins the side on loan for the remainder of the season from Italian side Sassuolo, with an option for Barca to buy in the summer. According to Kevin Boateng, he's ready for the challenge.
I think it's a big honor. I'm very happy. I think it's a big honor for me to be here and have the possibility to play for this great club. No, I think for every kid who starts to play football is a big dream to play in a club like Barcelona. So for every football player, and especially for me, it's a big dream coming true. No, I will just try to give everything for this club. I think everybody knows the way I play. They know my strength. I don't want to talk about my strength. I just want to put everything on and just try to help the club.
All right, so that's Barcelona's new signing, Kevin Prince Boateng. He could make his debut tomorrow when Barca takes on Sevilla in a Copa del Rey game. Well, some disturbing news coming through. Cardiff City's record signing 15 million signing Emiliano Sala and a pilot are feared dead after a private jet traveling from Nantes to the Welsh capital went missing. A major search operation is underway involving 2 helicopters, 2 planes, and a lifeboat after the light aircraft disappeared from the radar. And definitely we'll follow this and bring you more in our subsequent.
We're hoping they are found alive. And that's Benedict with the latest from the world of sports. Now, 2 years after the rolling out of government's Planting for Food and Jobs program, some farmers are lamenting a number of teething challenges with the policy remain unresolved. They point to low number of agric extension services and delays in supply of inputs are some of the challenges militating against the program's success. Though the program has helped boost the yield, the farmers want the challenges resolved. Henry Kwesibidu of our Agric and Technology Desk has more in this report.
The importance of planting for food and jobs is clear to my government.
This year will be the 3rd planting season since the implementation in April 2017. To assess the performance of the program, the Agricultural Desk of Joy News took a trip to the Shai Osudoku district of the Eastern region, where there are over 3,000 registered Planting for Food and Jobs beneficiaries. Robert Agokachi is a farmer in the village of Dedenya He cultivates maize and pepper and says the yield this year was far better than it was in the last planting season.
Asking like the corn you see right now, I have to dehusk it with my children.
His only worry was the invasion of a fall army worms that destroyed portions of his farm.
If they can help us with a better way of spraying these worms, maybe some machines that can come to our farms and then help us spray these worms, it will help us.
Ernest Lawe is an extension officer at the Doyumu Aikuma operational area.
The issue is now the extension officer is having a lot of farmers. Maybe the ratio may be maybe one extension officer is taking care of 1,005 farmers. And that extension officer is not having motorbike to go rounds and maybe talk to the farmers as well.
I continued my tour to the Shire area precisely as Sutrari. At the Kpong irrigation scheme, all rice farmers here are beneficiaries of the government's flagship policy. Although some farmers who spoke to us admitted the experienced increase in yield, they say they had difficulties accessing the subsidized fertilizers.
Earlier, the fertilizer was given to a dealer, which by October, it tells you whatever was given to you has finished. And the farmers themselves go in and search for fertilizer.
The fertilizer should be there early for us to start the cropping season as early as possible.
Deputy Minister of Agriculture George Boahen Udru says his ministry is looking to address challenges confronting the Planting for Food and Jobs policy.
In fact, some of them were saying the fertilizers and the seed came late. So this year, we've decided that it will get to them on time, especially last month, that was December. That's when the minister signed the fertilizer contract so that at least by February it will be in time. With the planting season starts in March. So this year, seed and fertilizer are going to reach the farmers on time with a different distribution channel so that every farmer will have access to the seed and the fertilizer. So food prices are not as escalating as it used to be before because there was a bumper harvest last year.
One thing is certain. The Planting for Food and Jobs policy is faced with some constraints. But for many farmers, sustaining the policy will ensure a better food security.
Henry Christie video of our Agric and Technology Desk in that report. Now listen to this.
The children are on holiday. Kwame and Efwa are at home. Kwame listens to some music on the radio. Efwa reads a book.
Sit down, children. Here are the letters of the alphabet. Each letter can be big or little.
Efwa and Kwame can go with them to see Papa in the village. I have some school work to do for Monday.
So when was the last time you two read a book? And when was the last time you picked a reading material? At least a recent survey shows 90% of basic school pupils can either not read at all or can't understand what they read. It is the reason the Ghana Library Authority has declared 2019 the year of reading. Acting Director of the Ghana Library Authority, Hayford Siao, has been sharing this vision with Kojo Yangsen.
As part of the year of reading, we've set up 5 main objectives. One is to improve our book collection. One of them is to introduce our digital library. I told you, 70 years, no automation, no digital library. And I have been to DC Public Library and New York Public Library to discuss with them, to learn from them, because they have deployed, digital platforms. And our mobile app is going to help Ghanaians to register and be able to borrow books online. So there are certain books that you will not need to walk into a physical library, and you can borrow it online. And within 15, 14 days, 21 days, it can be returned back on the shelf. So we want to introduce that, to be able to get people who have access, because the point is access. Because, most people don't know their nearest library, but once they download an app, they can borrow something to it. So that's one of the key strategies we want to be able to use.
You heard that the Acting Director of your Ghana Library Authority, Hayford Siao. Let's now check out what's trending on social media. Maps, what's trending?
Hashtag Enjoy Prince is trending, and it's about the most talked about and trending name in the last 12 hours is Kevin Prince Boateng, who has added another club to his CV. Former Black Stars midfielder has joined Barcelona, and everybody is very excited about it. That's why hashtag Enjoy Prince is trending. At Sergio Manuchuan says, Chale, the way Barca they hype KPB, guy man for shine one time. And at the fan Choco says, as your country, we are very proud of you.
And we're hoping he gets a call up to play the Black Stars. And that's it for the midday news. Just before we go, some stories that are making the headlines. Police in the Western region come under heavy criticism for their handling of young girls kidnapped more than a month in Takrady by a Nigerian syndicate. We heard from the gender minister who says they are closing in on the kidnappers. We leave you with the sound of one of the distressed parents who's making the call. I am Emefa Apau. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com.
We plead with everyone to help us trace my daughter. It's been very difficult for my family.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week, I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello! Look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a new day. I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together. Forward together. Cowbank, forward together.
Get ready to own the mic. A night where ideas will kiss similarly so deeply, metaphors will get jealous. It's 2019, and your superstation Joy 99.7 FM hosts the second Joy FM Open Mic Night at the Plus 233 Jazz Bar and Grill on Friday, January 25th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. This show is on point. The 2019 Joy FM Open Mic Night open to performers who would like to perform original or cover material. Come, let's hang out and enjoy performances from musicians, comedians, poets, and spoken word artists, including a rap battle and other surprise performances from well-known artists. You don't want to miss this. Come, let's network with friends and your favorite Joy FM personalities. With loads to eat and drink. The date is Friday, January 25th, 2019, and entry is a cool 50 cities. It's the Joy FM's Open Mic Night at the Plus 233 Jazz Bar and Grill. Joy FM Open Mic Night. Experience it. Don't wait to be told.
How do you love your pork? Grilled?
There were grandparents. There were mothers.
This is the method our grandparents handed down to our mothers. This method is very healthy because in the clay oven, we are able to drain out most of the fat. Then this Wednesday, catch the story of Sophia Hammond and her pork grilled in an African oven on the Joy Business Van. The Joy Business Van on TV, radio, online, and on ground. It's powered by Joy Business and supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
FPAC is effective for headaches and relieves the symptoms of flu, colds, and catarrh. FPAC blows away the pain associated with sore throats. During and after a hard day's work, FPAC relieves you of body pains. After the day's sports workout, FPAC helps the body to control the aching muscles. FPAC is effective against feverishness. FPAC reduces body temperature associated with malaria and other fevers. FPAC is effective against rheumatic pains. You can find FPAC in all pharmacy and chemical select shops throughout the country. FPAC is not recommended for children less than 16 years of age, ulcer and asthmatic patients, pregnant and lactating mothers. If symptoms persist for more than 2 days, consult your doctor. FPAC, blows your pain away.
FPAC Junior follows in the tradition of FPAC tablets, a trusted friend to relieve your child of pain associated with teething, catarrh, cold, and fever. The good that FPAC does for you, FPAC Junior does for your child. FPAC Junior is for children between 6 months and 12 years. FPAC Junior blows your child's pain away.
Bringing hope to many around the globe, transforming lives into legacies. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil. And now, today's word.
I've realized that the greatest breakthroughs in your life are always around you. Most of the things we are looking for in life are already there looking at us. They are there. It's just that you've never found how to use it. If we want to eradicate poverty in this church, it's not going to come by going to another country to look for money or for ideas. The goose is around us. It's there. The familiar things. The familiar relationships, the familiar opportunities, the job you already have, the talent you have. Look at the things that are already around you, not the things way outside of you, because God will almost always place the next step within your step. If God wants to take a next step, He's not going to put it way out there for you to try and achieve it and never get it. The next step is always going to be within your step. When Jesus preached the gospel, He said, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He didn't say it was far off. It's close. What you're looking for is not far away from you. It's close to you. Your breakthrough, your favor, it's right close to you. It's not far away from you. And there may be things you're very familiar with, but which you ignore. Second lesson. Third lesson. To receive a continual supply of golden eggs, we must take care of the goose that lays them. Many times we lose sight of the channel through which God blesses us. From our bodies to our relationships, our finances, our church, we need to take good care of the channels. If you are a performer, you want to really hit your best, you have to continually take care of your training. If you're a businessman, you invest and keep reinvesting. If you're married, you invest in the relationship. You receive continuous supply if you take care of the goose. That's an important lesson. You know, by 1923, Ghana was the world's leading producer of cocoa by 1923. And we used the Cocoa Marketing Board, scholarship, economy. We use it to balance our economy, do our budget and everything. But has any one of us here seen a modern cocoa farm in Ghana that is more than 5,000 acres? Let me even bring it down, 1,000-acre farm. Have you ever visited a modern cocoa farm? All the cocoa farms in Ghana are in bushes. You see palm tree, then cocoa. Mango, cocoa. Those are the cocoa farms I've seen. And a few, when somebody says, I have a big cocoa farm, it's just maybe 5 acres maximum. And yet, it's our mainstay. That's our goose. We are taking out the golden eggs, and the goose is dying. We pray, God bless us, He gives us oil. God bless us, gold. God bless us, rivers. You pollute your rivers. You pollute your lakes. You kill your water bodies. And you wonder why we don't have water to drink. You want the water, but you don't want to take care of the source of the water we are drinking. And then we pray, God, favor, help us, help us. He says, but I gave you the goose. You have your water, you have good land, you have good weather, it even rains in January. It rains in January. Just this week, somebody gave me roasted corn, fresh corn. I said, I didn't know corn comes in, roasted corn is in February. I don't know what happened, but I got roasted corn. When I was growing up, corn comes only in April, thereabouts, May, June, July, then corn, fresh corn is coming. Corn is coming in January. So God is giving you the land, He's giving you the weather, He's giving you the rain, He's giving you rivers, He's giving you the minerals, He's giving you the people. If you don't take care of the goose, you're not going to have any golden eggs. He's giving you the people to help you. If you're going to abuse them, they're not going to produce for you. God gives you workers, you insult your workers, you insult your workers, you insult your workers. How are they going to produce? I didn't hear preach it there. So, when we pay more attention to the golden eggs than we do for the goose, we eventually lose both. We see the money and we focus all our attention on it. So, for example, if you pray to God for money and He gives you a rich client to patronize your product, and you see how much the client has, and so how much he pays for your product, and then you decide to overcharge him for the services. And you forget that there was a time you had no money, and God gave you that one client, and that one client, you want to take all your golden eggs one day from that one client until you shut the line of relationship. One day the person discovers you're a cheat, and the business is disconnected. It's amazing how we can get greedy. Instead of allowing the source to produce for us over and over, we want it now. We have arrears of poverty from our ancestors. If we want to solve them, we may not solve them in our lifetime. But we must ensure that even if we can't solve it in our lifetime, our children will benefit from it. And our grandchildren will benefit from it. So you make sure that you keep investing. You don't want it right now. God has given you a relationship. Don't kill that relationship. Don't let greed make you kill relationships. It's better to have one sustainable client than trying to make a full capital of them one day. If you have a business opportunity, don't try to make all your money from one opportunity. Sometimes you have to work just to break even, sometimes even at a loss, and break even before you start making profit 5 years, 10 years from now. You can't make profit the first month. I can't solve all your financial problems. Your client, nobody can solve all your financial problems for you with one transaction. So if you have opportunity, don't go for all your eggs at one go. It's taking you a long time to be poor. It will take you a long time to get out of poverty. It doesn't happen instantly. Your father was poor, your grandfather was poor. Why do I know? Because you are poor. Oh, yeah. It's generational. Your grandfather is poor, pass it on to your father, and your father diligently pass it on to you. It's a transgenerational poverty. So God gives you a client who has money. Don't milk him instantly with one transaction to solve a transgenerational poverty. You have to continue, nurture that goose so it will produce for you every day for a very long time. And if you stay consistent, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you'll be able to start breaking out of your poverty system. But don't try to get it instantly. Final lesson. Final lesson. Our golden eggs will be laid on a steady, day-by-day basis. Most of the exciting things you want in life take place consistently. Last week I showed you how the source of the Amazon River, it's been there for thousands of years and just keep going, pouring out. But it's a trickle at a time, but it's been allowed to flow for 1,000 years. That's why we have that big river. Many times we kill our opportunities. We don't want day by day because it's too slow for us. It's too slow. I want it now. I don't have money. I didn't make you poor. That client didn't make you poor. You were poor by yourself. You had difficulty by yourself. Now you have a goose that is going to produce for you. Be patient with it. Now I know a lot of you are now very keen on having investments. I'm telling you, the greatest temptation you're going to have in life is when you have invested and you're broke. I'm telling you, that's the deepest, the biggest temptation. You are broke, but you have investment. You now have some 5,000, you have some 10,000 in your investment. Now you are broke. And everything in you would say, go and take that investment and solve your current brokenness. The thing is that after you solve your current brokenness with that investment you took about 3-4 years to build, I can guarantee you 3-4 years you'll be back to square one, but this time with no investment. So you have to resist that temptation. Yeah, it will make life very hard and uncomfortable, but you are delaying today so that 3-5 years from now, your story will not be a repetitive cycle of failure and little victory and failure and little victory. You want to have a permanent success. It doesn't happen easily. Sometimes you have to deny yourself and invest in your children. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that all overnight your problems will be solved. They won't be solved overnight. I'm not saying that next year by this time everything will change. They wouldn't change it. There could be a miracle that will change everything next year by this time, and thank God for miracles. We don't plan for miracles because miracles are not within our control. They are divine acts of God. I don't plan for a miracle. I plan for consistency. The miracle is a bonus. If God does something supernatural for me that I hadn't planned for, thank God. If nothing supernatural happens to me, I'm still going to get there. That's how your life should be. The next 20 years are going to be remarkable years for you. Going to be remarkable. You're going to flourish. You will flourish like the palm tree. You will bear fruit in your old age. Especially for those of you who are young in your 20s and 30s, you have no excuse because you've heard all this teaching. And if you apply your hearts to wisdom, 30 years from now, your next 30 years will be sweeter than now, and the next 30 years will be sweeter than then. There is nothing sweeter in this world than to be on retirement and be rich. I'm telling you, it's a sweet combination. Sweet combination. You're on retirement, but the money is flowing because you took 60 years to plan for your retirement. I just want to encourage you, especially the young people, those of you who are 20, 25, 30. You have to have not just a 20-year plan, a 40-year plan, especially of financial independence. We are tired of broke Africans. Don't you think so? We are tired of broke Africans. We have to break out, but it's going to come because we take care of the productive capacity that God has given to us. Your gift, your talent, your relationship, the money he puts in your hand must not just end in one cycle. It must stay. A research was done about different people groups and how much they retain money. It was found out that money stays within certain communities, especially the Jewish community. Money stays there for about 12 times before it goes out. In the African community, it stays one cycle and it's out. Just one cycle. So it comes, goes, comes, goes, comes, goes, no circulation. And you and I know that the value of money is not on the paper value, but on how it circulates. How it circulates. If I have 1 cedi now, it is one. Its value is 1 cedi. If I buy water for 1 cedi, so I've used the 1 cedi. But if he goes to Pastor Fred there, he uses the 1 cedi to buy water. The money, which is 1 cedi in value, has about 2 cedi worth. If he goes to the next person, he uses it. The money, which is 1 cedi, is now 3. So as you circulate it, the money gets more useful. But if you kill it, it just performs one function. It's out of your society, your community. Part of the empowerment God wants to give us is we keep the goose that he blesses us with. Are you getting some wisdom? Oh yes, we're getting wiser and wiser. And we're going to manage our lives better. God bless you.
Thank you for listening to Living Word. To interact with Pastor Mensa Otabil, like his page on Facebook. Follow him on Twitter @Mensa Otabil. Email otabil@centralgospel.com or call +233 302 688 000.
This January, your #1 on-air business development program, Masterclass, will continue the discussion on personal branding and business etiquette for professionals. Our facilitator is Emma Ado-Owusu, Principal Image Consultant at Cobadem Image Consultants.
We will talk about brand management, techniques, and how to maintain your brand and how to further avoid the negative pitfalls that can do lasting and permanent damage to your brand.
Tune into the Masterclass every Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. on your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM. You can also interact with us on Facebook at Joy Business or at Joy 99.7 FM. And if you tweet, the handles are at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass.
Get ready to own the mic. A night where ideas will kiss similarly so deeply, metaphors will get jealous. It's 2019, and your superstation Joy 99.7 FM hosts the second Joy FM Open Mic Night at the +233 Jazz Bar and Grill on Friday, January 25th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. This show is on point. The 2019 Joy FM Open Mic Night open to performers who would like to perform original or cover material. Come, let's hang out and enjoy performances from musicians, comedians, poets, and spoken word artists, including a rap battle and other surprise performances from well-known artists. You don't want to miss this. Come, let's network with friends and your favorite Joy FM personalities with loads to eat and drink. The date is Friday, January 25th, 2019, and entry is a cool 50 cities. It's the Joy FM's Open Mic Night at the +233 Jazz Bar and Grill. Joy FM Open Mic Night. Experience it. Don't wait to be told.
It's time to separate the boys from the men. Time to make a proper claim of your willingness to go all the way. A time for the fans to scream, cheer, and suffer the pain. Time to get bolder on the European night on Joy 99.7 FM as the UEFA Champions League moves up a notch with mouth-watering clashes.
Cut the music! Charge your glass! He writes every headline!
So join me, George Addo Jr.
And me, Gary L. Smith, from the 12th of February to the 13th of March.
For apt live commentary of the UEFA Champions League Round of 16 game.
European Night on Joy 99.7 FM is proudly sponsored by Bet138.com, supported by DSTV and GoTV, and powered by Joy Sports, the thrill of the game.
2002, what an absolute thrill.
FPAC is effective for headaches and relieves the symptoms of flu, colds, and catarrh. FPAC blows away the pain associated with sore throats. During and after a hard day's work, FPAC relieves you of body pains. After the day's sports workout, FPAC helps the body to control the aching muscles. FPAC is effective against feverishness. FPAC reduces body temperature associated with malaria and other fevers. FPAC is effective against rheumatic pains. You can find FPAC in all pharmacy and chemical select shops throughout the country. FPAC is not recommended for children less than 16 years of age, ulcer and asthmatic patients, pregnant and lactating mothers. If symptoms persist for more than 2 days, consult your doctor. FPAC blows your pain away.
FPAC Junior follows in the tradition of FPAC tablets, a trusted friend to relieve your child of pain associated with teething, catarrh, cold, and fever. The good that FPAC does for you, FPAC Junior does for your child. FPAC Junior is for children between 6 months and 12 years. FPAC Junior blows your child's pain away.
Business affects us all in many ways.
The forex rates are really going out of gear.
Oftentimes in ways we don't even know.
Here at Abosokai, what they indicate is that, well, their profits are fast eroding, and if nothing is done about it, several of them could lay off certain workers that work with them, or probably even close their shops.
Business Journal takes you beyond the numbers and connects you to the lives behind the stories.
Even the amounts we pay on duties itself goes higher because they use the dollar to calculate the duties for us. So
I started selling Tiro on the road. I have to enroll in student loan trust to help fund my education. But I think level 200, the one who guaranteed for me died. So my student's loan was cut off.
Business Journal every Friday on the Joy Business Report at 6:15 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Every high school student is a patron of the good old metallic box, Trunk.
Don't miss the Business Journal. It's everybody's business.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call on me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. I can see it's hurting you. I can feel your pain. It's hard to see the sunshine through the rain. Oh, I know sometimes it seems as if it's never going, but you'll get through it. Just don't give in, 'cause you can. Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong.
I love
Helping you to carry on. Call me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. You can count on me.
I love this station.
I know sometimes it seems as if we're standing on alone, but we'll get through it. 'Cause
99.7 FM.
Hello, it's time for the Joy Business Report. And coming up in the bulletin, Obuasi residents hopeful of significant turnaround in fortunes as Anglo-Gold Ashanti gets set to formally reopen mines in the area. Also, is the decline in power demand from the national grid a threat to power producers? We'll hear from the VRA. And renowned banker Albert Essien, officially appointed chairman of Ghana Amalgamated Trust. Meanwhile, a former investor banker with Goldman Sachs, Eric Otu, has also been named as managing director. And the Joy Business Reporter 1 is brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, Vanguard Assurance. We always stand by you. I'm Charles Aite with the details. Residents of Obuasi in the Ashanti region are optimistic of some significant improvement in their fortunes. This is based on the reopening of the Anglo-Gold Ashanti Obuasi mine. After 4 years of limited shutdown, President Akufo-Addo is expected to commission the $375 million underground mining project in a few hours' time from now. But residents in the Obuasi township are excited about the expected jobs the project will create for locals, and they've been speaking to my colleague Prince Apia, who joins us on the telephone line. He will be joining us shortly on updates so far as we gear the scenes in that regard. But of course, he does join us right now for some updates. Hello, Prince. Hello, Prince. Well, we shall be working the phone lines to get in touch with Prince on this development in the Ashanti region. But moving on to other stories, barely a week after fire destroyed shops at the pedestrian mall in Accra, affected traders are yet to be compensated as those whose shops survived the outbreak have opened for work. Joy Business engaged some of the traders.
Still, we are not safe because for me to come to work, is not easy.
We are not safe, not at all. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know what will happen when we close. And this is all we have. This is not the first time. It's been happening.
I've been troubled since the fire outbreak. I feel so unsafe.
We were told to come and make account of the goods we lost to the fire. It's been a week and authorities have not responded to us.
Hello?
And you're still listening to the Joy Business Report, to our early story, our main story for the day, where Obuasi residents are hopeful of significant turnaround in fortunes as Anglo-Gold Ashanti gets set to formally reopen the mines in that area. Prince Apia is there for us. Hello, Prince.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you clearly. So what exactly are residents telling you ahead of the reopening?
Yeah, what is really happening currently is that the residents are very much excited, super excited that the mine is going to operate again. And all what they are saying is that they want most of the employment to be done here in the Obuasi municipality. They want most of the residents get the skilled and unskilled jobs here so that the economy of the Obuasi municipality will boom again.
I hear some sirens around where you're located. What exactly is the update as we speak?
I must say that a lot of high-level dignitaries are currently trooping into the venue where the program is going to start. Regional minister I've seen some high-profile officials of the Minerals Commission, the Minister of Land and Natural Resources. All of them are currently here. We are waiting the arrival of Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II and the President of the Republic to start the program. So currently a lot of dignitaries are all trooping in, and most of the residents are also here.
All right, many thanks, Prince Apia, for that update. We shall be keeping an eye on this story for, updates as and when we do have them. Now, let's move on to other stories where renowned banker Albert Essien has been appointed as chair of the Ghana Amalgamated Trust. This was contained in an official statement released by the trust a while ago. The special company created to help recapitalize some local banks has also appointed a former investment banker from Goldman Sachs, Eric Otu, as its managing director. There is more more in this Business Desk report.
According to the Ghana Consolidated Trust, the appointment of these two individuals is to help build on the track record of the 5 local banks that have been working to recapitalize the 400 million cedis. They would also be working with other board members to lead the transformation process of the selected indigenous banks. The appointment of these two distinguished bankers should also help the trust to go ahead with the activities to raise the required funds from investors and some interested pension fund managers in the country. According to statements from the Amalgamated Trust, other members of the board include Head of the Financial Sector Division of the Finance Ministry, Samson Akligo, One Susan Ohene, and Abina Kesiwa Brown. Albert Asian is said to have about 30 years of banking experience. Until this appointment, he was the board chairman of GHL Bank. He also served as a group chief executive of EcoBank. The managing director of the trust, Eric Otu, also has 15 years of experience in investment banking, having worked with Goldman Sachs from 2007, as well as other international financial firms. Many people will be looking forward to see how these new directors would run and raise all the required funds for these local banks.
And that's a Business Desk report. Now, there has been a decline in demand of power from the national grid as a result of the decision by individuals and institutions to invest into solar energy. This development, according to the power producers, is a threat to the continuous existence and sustainability of power production. Commercial Director at the VRA, Dr. Isaac Doku, in an interview with Joy Business, said the costs of the components in producing power to the national grid should be reduced drastically to attract a drop in tariffs.
During the doomsday era, I believe that a lot of industries have to do self-generation. They went in to buy diesel, gensets, etc. And at the end of the day, you realize that maybe the cost of operating the genset was cheaper than buying from the grid. And so the only way to end up or to help the industries to put aside that genset is when the power from the grid is cheaper. Now, predominantly, a lot of our gas, or we're using gas for a lot of our generation. So I think it's just simple. If the input into the generation of electricity, which is mainly gas, is lower, then that benefit can pass on to the end user or the consumer. Household, yes, they are consuming, but like I said, household have gone in for a lot of people have got solar panels, etc. But the key is actually the industry. If there's more industrial consumption, then you can see that the demand is going to rise. But the only way there can be higher demand from industry is that if the price is cheaper than they self-generating.
Dr. Isaac Doku is Commercial Director at the Volta River Authority, VRA. Now, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoako-Attah, has disclosed that the government has saved up to 12 billion cedis after paying just 5.79 billion cedis as the commitment from existing road contracts. This comes after undertaking a rationalization exercise which saw the government having to put just 5.8 billion cedis out of the existing 17.2 billion cedis owed contractors. Speaking at the just-ended Meet the Press, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoako-Attah, said the rationalization exercise saw some contracts also terminated.
My ministry took immediate steps to engage the services of a team of experts to undertake a rationalization exercise to reduce the commitments in the sector as aforementioned. And to remind you, I have said that the commitments alone stood at 17.2 billion Ghana cedis, with its corresponding cost to complete ongoing projects at 12 billion Ghana cedis. This important technical exercise, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, reduce commitment amount from 17 billion Ghana cedis, 5.79 billion Ghana cedis, reduction of 66.3%. As at now, because we had a lot of recommendations arising out of the committee's work, we continue to give consideration and thoughts.
Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoako-Attah. In a bid to support poultry production, the National Food and Buffer Stock Company says it is ready to supply maize to poultry farmers who may request for poultry production. This move is expected to end the maize shortage story. In an interview with Joy Business, the Chief Executive Officer of the Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab, said the move has become necessary as government embarks on its Raring for Food and Jobs agenda.
Some government-supported institutions are in the process of having an MOU or a framework agreement with us So we expect the Poultry Farmers Association to also come and have the same arrangement, framework agreement with us, that we need this quantity of yellow maize, white maize, supply it to us every month, every quarter, every year. So I am calling on them. We are ever ready to help them boost their business, because government has so much interest in the poultry industry, especially now that we are coming to do this rearing for food and jobs.
Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab, ending the Joy Business Report. But just before we leave, the headline: Obuasi residents hopeful of significant turnaround in fortunes as AngloGold Ashanti gets set to formally reopen mines in the area. I'm Charles Aite. Many thanks for your time. And coming up next is the Executive Lounge with Inshirado. Do stay.
For 5 long years, it's been with you.